Hey guys, Nozzle here and welcome back to another YouTube video. Today we're going to be talking about Vanny from Five Nights at Freddy's versus Sammy Lawrence from Bendy and the Ink Machine. If you're going to enjoy this video, then make sure to like, subscribe. I imagine this video will be a really short one in comparison to my other videos because these two characters are really grounded and don't really have much to go off of compared to like other really complex characters with lots of abilities and feats. But without further ado, let's just get on with the video. When it comes to strength and attack potency, Vanny's best feat of strength is being able to one-shot a child. This bare minimum means that she's athlete to peak human level physically. She also has a knife. Knives can cut through things like skin and bones, which would make Vanny street tier. Now, what that means is that street tier is the term given for characters who are above superhuman, but not quite powerful enough to destroy walls, and, you know, they can't really destroy streets. So Vanny's knife should be on that tier. As for Sammy Lawrence, meanwhile, he's capable of knocking out the player who survived an elevator crash, which means that Sammy Lawrence should have about superhuman levels of strength. He also has an axe which can easily chop apart boards of wood, meaning that, again, it's between street tier to possibly wall level if you imply that these boards of wood are capable of being walls. Either way, Sammy Lawrence's axe is able to output more damage than Vanny's knife, and physically, Sammy Lawrence should be physically stronger than Vanny. As for speed, and Vanny's capable of catching Gregory, who can outrun animatronics. These animatronics should scale to past animatronics who are capable of crossing entire rooms in the span of a second, being that their speed should be equal to about 53 miles per hour. As for Sammy Lawrence, we don't really have any speed feats for him, so he realistically should be like average to peak human level. He also does have an axe though, and the fastest that someone can use an axe is up to 80 miles per hour. So you can argue that Sammy Lawrence does have a faster attack speeds than Vanny, however, physically Vanny is faster. As for durability for Vanny, we don't really have any durability feats. Realistically, she should be around athletic to peak human, like her attack potency without the knife, but, you know, there's not much else to prove that she should be much higher than that. Meanwhile, for Sammy, he's capable of taking attacks from Henry, who is attacking him with a pipe, which means that he should have at least some level of superhuman to street tier durability. He's also survived an encounter with Bendy, who could punch Henry through a dense metal door, which would require a dual amount of 17,000, which is enough to destroy a wall. The only thing is, we don't know if Sammy was killed and then came back to life, since the Ink Machine has been shown capable of doing such things, but I'll go over both scenarios in the conclusion, but either way, Sammy would be more durable. For abilities, weaponry and techniques, Vanny has Stealth Mastery, has multiple selves due to being possessed by Glitch Trap. She has Minor Lights Manipulation via her flashlight. She has Perception Manipulation, which usually causes blindness and static if she gets near you. She has Limited Invisibility and Technology Manipulation, as she's unseen by the animatronics and can control their actions with the press of a button. She has Resistance to Light Manipulation / Status Effect Inducement, as she's unaffected by the Phaser Blaster or the Phascam. As for Sammy Lawrence, meanwhile, he's a weapons master. He possibly has resurrection, as we said, he's somehow alive after getting attacked by Bendy. He also has some level of teleportation or intangibility, as he disappeared into the hallway. This either means that he either just teleported or he phased into the wall. Either way, it's a bit vague as to how it happens. So for who has the better abilities and versatility, I think it's clear that Vanny does, but for weaponry, I mean, the axe is mightier than the knife, so, you know, Sammy would take that point. As for weaknesses for Vanny, beating all 3 Princess Quest arcade games will break her free from Springtrap's control. As for Sammy, meanwhile, if his mask gets hit off his face, then he'll start running away. So for us, the worst weakness, well, Vanny's weakness technically guarantees her loss. It's not going to be a part of the fight because the arcade games are away in the corners of the Pizzaplex, and I'll get to in the conclusion why the setting matters, but basically, when it comes to combat, Sammy definitely has the worst weakness. The fight, I've gathered from this that Sammy is stronger, more durable, and has better weaponry. Meanwhile, Vanny's faster, has better abilities, is more versatile, and is less vulnerable. So, who wins the fight? This one's a genuinely quite close one. Sammy is more capable of killing Vanny than Vanny is of killing him, at least when it comes to physical stats. Like, if the two were to throw down, Sammy would definitely come out on top. Yeah, Vanny's superior speed would definitely be helpful, but, Sammy's axe is just able to one-shot Vanny. But Vanny's hacks is pretty huge. Yeah, Vanny wouldn't be invisible to Sammy because Sammy isn't an animatronic, but the abilities of getting like blindness effects and status effects on you when Vanny is even close to you is definitely something that's going to tip the fight in Vanny's favor. If the theory of Gregory as a robot is a true one, which it hasn't been confirmed yet, then this wouldn't apply to the fight and Sammy would just win. But because we don't know, and this is combat applicable here, Vanny does have it, and as a result, I think that Vanny would probably win. Like, Vanny would disorient Sammy and could knock off his mask with one hit, which would obviously then cause Sammy to start running, and given Vanny's superior speed, she could definitely get a lot more hits on Sammy and take him down, but it only really takes one hit from Sammy's axe to take down Vanny. So, overall, who's more likely to win? I'm honestly not too sure, because Sammy's win condition is much more simple than Vanny's, but Vanny can avoid Sammy's win condition, and meanwhile Sammy can't really avoid Vanny's. The thing is that puts it more in Vanny's favour, I think, is the fact that her status effect and stuff will happen no matter what when Vanny is near Sammy and disorient him, and he has to try and hit Vanny while he's being somewhat blinded, and Vanny is faster. And again, if the mask gets knocked off, then he's really not going to be able to fight then. Something else that's notable as well is if it takes place within the pizzeria, then the animatronics will be fighting alongside Vanny. And considering how they're physically stronger than Vanny, you can check out my Glamrock Freddy vs. Sully video if you want to check, his stats alone. Then Sammy's a bit screwed because he just get overwhelmed and destroyed. However, if it takes place in, the Bendy in the ink machine, place, I can't even remember what it's called, then Vanny doesn't really stand a chance, because either she just has to deal with Sammy, or the little blobs from the ground also come out to attack her, which wouldn't help. If it takes place in a completely neutral venue, however, then whatever I've always just said would be in effect. The only thing is, if it doesn't take place in the FNAF arcade machines, then Sammy can't exploit Vanny's weakness, but he probably wouldn't think to do that anyways, so it doesn't really matter. So I'd probably say that Vanny is more likely to whittle him down, especially because she's not that much weaker. If you imply that Sammy has resurrection and not raw durability, then Vanny definitely wins. This isn't even to mention Sammy's potential teleportation or intangibility, which he could use to avoid Vanny's strikes, so I'd probably say overall that Sammy's more likely to win, since, while, yeah, Vanny definitely does have a lot of things which can mess him up, he has his teleportation / intangibility to get out of it, and only has to hit Vanny once, where Vanny has to hack away at Sammy. This doesn't even bring up the fact that Sammy can be scaled higher in terms of durability. So I'd say Sammy is more likely to win, but it's definitely not one-sided whatsoever. If you enjoyed this video, then make sure to like, subscribe, and I'll see you next time.
After all this time, it's finally mine! I possess the strongest body in the universe!